Hey everybody, Brant here with Nutrition First Coaching, and this is our second video and the one that's more based on performance and actionable steps related to electrolytes. So on the last video we talked about the majors and minors and electrolytes, and if you want to go check that one out, it'll tell you all you want to know about electrolytes in a 5-minute video. So crammed as much as we could in there. Now let's give you some actual tips, and I like to break this down into like everyday habits and then performance habits so that you can perform well, whether you're working outside, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a mom, dad, running the kids around, and you still want to be a good athlete, runner, weightlifter, CrossFitter, you name it. So let's start with the daily habits and some of the basics, because everybody asks me this question: how much water should I drink? I like to say half your body weight in ounces. And the reason I say that is because if you're eating a pretty good, healthy diet, you're getting a lot of veggies in there, you're gonna get some hydration from that. If you're a 150-pound person, that's 75 ounces of water. That's good in terms of general hydration. On top of that, you're gonna hydrate if you're outside running, if you're doing a sport where you're sweating a lot, or you're in an environment where you sweat a lot, but that's kind of a general rule, is that half your body weight in ounces. But a lot of people will say, oh, I start drinking more water and I just pee all the time. You should really only have to pee about 6 to 8 times a day. Where's that one at? Depending on kind of how your bladder and your body function. But if you're peeing more than that, or you're peeing really frequently, you drink a little water or a glass of water and you got to pee within 45 minutes or an hour, you're probably not getting hydrated, and that's where electrolytes can come into the picture. The first thing to go to is just some of your basic salts. I put in here mineral salts, and what I mean by that is pink Himalayan sea salt or gray Celtic salt. Some of those salts that have more mineral bases in them. There is a place for like iodized table salt as well. Of course, you got to be a little more careful depending on how much of that you eat and how sensitive you are to it, and if you have some blood pressure issues like we talked about in the last one. But for the most part, if you're working out 5 or 6 days a week and you push yourself pretty hard in your workouts, you're probably going to need some supplementation of some salts. So seek out some different ones, see what you like flavor-wise, profile-wise. The next step to go to is going to be supplementing with the major 4. So there's a ton of stuff out there for supplements you can buy, and they kind of have this double effect to them. You can flavor your water with some of these, and it'll probably get you to drink more water, and you're getting some electrolyte supplementation in there as well. There's tons of brands out there. I'm not loyal to one or the other, even though I'm wearing a Driven shirt. But you can get tons of different supplementations of electrolytes. You can get capsules, you can get dissolvable tablets, sprays, just stuff you squirt in your water. Check them out, see what you like. I tell people, take a little bit of that on a daily basis, supplement throughout the day, especially if you got a big workout coming later or you worked out that morning, supplement to kind of catch back up through the day, and you're gonna notice you retain a lot more water and you don't have to pee nearly as much. Now you're getting that balance of the intracellular and extracellular hydration, and that's gonna really keep your body functioning well, keep everything conducting through there. The next one I say is thirst. If you're behind in hydration, you're thirsty, you're behind. So don't let yourself get thirsty. Little sips throughout the day, a few sips every hour versus like I didn't drink for 4 hours and I slammed 16 ounces of water. That's gonna hit your stomach hard. That's gonna probably make you have to go pee pretty quick, even if you are putting a little bit of supplementation with some salts in there. And then caffeine to water, 1-to-1 kind of ratio on that. You drink a cup of coffee, drink a little water with it, get to a cup of coffee, cup of water. That'll kind of balance you out. Of course, caffeine's a diuretic, you're gonna pee a little bit, but it's really more the volume in your stomach that's probably gonna make you have to pee. So just think about caffeinated beverages 1-to-1 with water or some kind of clear liquid to help hydrate. Now let's go into performance habits. So if we are a big sweater or like a heavy sweating person, you burn off a lot of electrolytes, and you'll know this because whether you're here in New Mexico and it's fairly high altitude and dry and you don't even notice the sweat coming off much, you'll have some salt on your face, on your shirt, on your hat. But if you're in a really humid environment, you'll taste the salt coming in your sweat. You'll see lines of salt around your head, your neck, your hat, all those things, because that means you're losing a lot of electrolytes through your salt, and that's where supplementation comes into play. There's some general rules to follow around that. If you are a heavy sweater or you're in a humid environment, so I say 80 degrees Fahrenheit and up, 26 degrees Celsius and up, and you got a decent amount of humidity, 40% and up. If we get above 20, we're all dying and sweating all the time. So if you're not used to it and you're in a more humid environment, start to take in some electrolyte supplementation within the first 45 minutes of working out, and then stay on top of that every 15 to 20 minutes, whether that's a capsule, whether that's a little bit in a bottle and you're sipping that on the way as you're working out. Stay on top of that hydration and keep those electrolytes going, because like we talked about in the last video, that's our fluid volume balancer, and it keeps our production going. It keeps our muscles contracting. It keeps us working out, efficiently. So that's optimization right there. We talked about the humidity. Altitude, that's our big one, 5,000 feet and up. You're gonna breathe out a lot of losing electrolytes basically out of your respiration. So that's where you need to keep supplementing with electrolytes. 45 minutes, start hitting them every 15 to 20 minutes. You're sipping, getting some electrolytes in. Perceived exertion, now if you're getting into that RPE 6 or more out of 10, so you're in a pretty, getting into a relatively intense workout, then you're gonna need some supplementation as you start pushing towards that hour mark and beyond for sure. Where it gets a little bit more into performance from, say, a working out, running, exercising standpoint, also depending on your diet. So if you're more of a, pushing towards a keto diet, you get a lot more fat, 60% and up of your calories come from fat. Now you're in this pretty high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet. You're gonna need more supplementation too. Definitely sipping throughout the day. Try some of those different supplements in your water so that you're staying on top of your electrolytes, because you're not gonna retain water as well, and fat needs a lot of H2O, needs water to be digested, metabolized, and used for energy. So that's just how the Krebs cycle works with getting the fat to burn for fuel. So you're gonna need some supplementation there. This goes back to salty sweaters. You're gonna know if that's the type of person you are, and experiment with that in training workouts, training runs before you get to races. And then if you cramp easily, then you definitely need to supplement with electrolytes. And that's where you're gonna find what's the right combination for you in all your training, so that when you get to your race, you're optimized for that. The other way to really know too is you go work out, weigh yourself before, weigh yourself immediately after, see how much fluid you took in during. If you had 2 16-ounce bottles, so you took in 32 ounces and you lost 3 pounds, then you can do some math on that and say, okay, well, I need to rehydrate with about a half a liter for every pound lost over the next several hours with a little electrolyte supplementation. You took in those 32 ounces. How much salty sweat did you have? How did you perform? How did you feel? What color's your pee? Start to notice all these things when you're performing and when you're working out, so you can kind of get to know yourself for the most part. So there's a few just daily habits, a few performance habits. They all flow into each other. If you're staying hydrated and your electrolytes are balanced and you're topped off through the day, that's going to lead to good workouts, quicker recovery. And when you do work out and you need to get supplemented and recover, that's going to lead to feeling good throughout the day. So electrolytes really are the key. They don't get talked about much. They get told they're micronutrients, but they're very important for our body's function. So go back to the last video, learn about some of them if you want to know more about electrolytes and the kind of 8 common electrolytes, and then put some of these tips into place. Measure your habits, measure your success with some of these, how you perform as an athlete, and be able to supplement from there. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.